Or the end of the morning for me.
Yeah.
Well, it's good to be back to work, and as everybody knows, we've carried on with our normal schedule. We went ahead and practiced last night, and we're on a day off. The coaches are back in the office and on a normal routine, and actually feel pretty good today. Maybe later in the day it might catch up with us a little bit, but we feel pretty good, and the players were in a good frame of mind last night, and so we got a big week ahead of us playing a good football team on the road that is very deserving of a top 10 ranking. One of the few teams that I've seen over the last few years that are really solid in all three phases. They're playing good on offense, and they're playing good on defense, and they're sound in the kicking game. And so they've become a complete football team. And obviously their coaching staff's been intact there now for a number of years, and must feel pretty good about what they're doing in those three phases, and comfortable with the direction they're going. And a quarterback that's playing good, a running back that can make plays. You got a couple guys that are averaging 5 or 6 catches a game that can take the ball and change a game at any time. And giving up 10 points a game and scoring 35 or whatever it is a game. So that difference between those two is really good. So we'll have to have a great week of preparation, and glad we're playing a 2:30 game. So look forward to getting down there and playing the game after a good week.
2:30 p.m.
2:30 p.m. That's right.
Not to dwell on the situation, but coaches are always learning things about their team. You have a situation to learn about your team that no coach really has ever experienced before. How impressed were you with the way your guys handled that situation? In retrospect, now that you've had time to think about it.
They did a nice job, and you don't really know what to expect. We had an incident at Troy a few years ago, and which would have been a 45-minute to an hour delay, maybe. I'm not sure, somewhere in that area. But this one was much more extensive, and I thought they really handled it very well. You're in a visitor's locker room, you're in confined quarters, and you have around 160 people in there, 150 people coming in and out based on all the personnel and the team. And so it got hot in there, and found out that they like peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. I guess if you're hungry enough, you'll eat whatever's available. So it was, a unique situation. We had some wives there, and they made the sandwiches, and players ate them, and coaches ate them, and then they became stir crazy after a couple hours. They were up and moving around, which concerned us as coaches, and Rob Glass, our strength coach, because they were on their feet for so long. But we were able to kind of regroup and focus, and I thought we played pretty well in the first half. We didn't play very well against the run throughout the game. We were really soft, so you can take that part and put it aside. But other than that, we played pretty well. And then I thought at the second part of the third quarter and the fourth quarter, guys just went through the motions. The grades of the players were considerably better in the first half than they were in the second half. And I was concerned about that and had some discussions with our staff yesterday. And one of our staff members brought it to my attention that, there was 10 or 12 minutes to go in the third quarter, and it's 45-6, and they probably lost focus at that time. We had a 80-yard run, and they had kicked the ball off, and it landed on the 40, and they got it and then hit us with the pass play. And so from then we kind of got back into the rhythm. But overall, I thought they handled it fairly well.
Mike, talked about the peanut butter and jelly. That stuff you took with you in preparation, or did somebody have to go to the grocery store?
Had to go to the store.
Who went?
A couple of our strength coaches, assistant strength coaches. Rob Glass wanted them to eat. He knows when they're supposed to eat and all that. And so he sent them to the store, and there was the media room there that was next to the visitors' locker room is where all the wives came down, and they were in there. So they were willing to go to work. See, I didn't say put them to work. my generation is learning. They were willing to make sandwiches. They made 2 and ate 1. No, I'm just kidding. But I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
Just took a step back.
We have beautiful wives, and so they were making them as fast as all get out, and taking them in there. And we went to the store and they bought those huge canisters, and so that's what the players were able to eat. Because you think about, our pregame meal was at 5:30, and then it's midnight. They hadn't eaten yet, and for those guys, they're used to eating all the time, so they had to get their nutrition level back up.
So Mike, that loss of focus that you were talking about, is that maybe the main cause of the problems that you guys had on defense against the run, or was it a scheme thing, or how you were lined up, or something like that?
We had that problem in the second quarter, and that's why I said you can put that aside. We've corrected that. They lined up in a couple formations that we hadn't seen, and it took us a while to get adjusted to them. They had a little more of an opportunity to allow the quarterback to run and fit into that system based on what happened with Kenny. The other guy came in and he was a little more suited for that. So the combination of that, the combination of the scheme they had, and we were soft up front. You put all that together, and that's what we ended up with. And that didn't have anything to do with what time we played.
So how much does that concern you going down to College Station with the running game that A&M has?
Well, I'm concerned with it. It's a little different. Not that they couldn't make those adjustments and put those plays in. A little bit different scheme. But my concern was 2 things. One, we played too high up front and we were too soft. Okay, and that doesn't have anything to do with what they did or what our defensive scheme was. And 2, that you always have to stop a team that's going to run the ball if they're willing to run it, or you're going to be in for a long night. I mean, we were more athletic than Tulsa, and so we were able to score a lot of points. But we're going to be in games where we don't have that luxury. Teams are going to be as talented as we are on the skilled positions, so we're going to have to play good football inside. And those are the 2 things that concerned me. And we'll work diligently this week to get it corrected before we go to A&M and play a team that's obviously a very good football team.
You had a lot of fans in Tulsa, so Saturday's really the first true road test of the season. What worries you the most about going on the road, especially to a place like Kyle Field, such a good home field advantage?
Yeah, it's a great home field advantage. We've had success there and won before. Fortunately, we have mature players, and I expect them to play well. You never know. Obviously, there'll be some guys that are playing on the road for the first time, but there should be enough leadership in our locker room, and guys understand that, when you get on the field, you're between those lines. We're 11 on 11.
This has really become a good series, Mike. Every game's close.
Mhm.
You won 3 straight, and the 2 years before that, you lost by 1. Can you
Right.
just talk about how this series and rivalry sort of really flourished in recent years?
Well, and that's what we talk about in our league in the Big 12, and that's what's happened is when you play at a high level of football in schools that Oklahoma State doesn't have the tradition in football that A&M does. Oklahoma State's building tradition. A&M's got a lot of tradition. They've had tradition for a long time, and teams get better and compete, and we recruit the same players, and with the access to publicity and media coverage and social networking, everybody knows each other, then that's created. And so that's a good thing for college football. There's a lot of interest in the game.
You said you'll face teams who have equal skill position guys or talent to you. Do you think A&M does?
Mhm.
Tannehill and Gray?
Yeah, I think that Cyrus and the 2 big wideouts they have, and the quarterback and their corners, that they've got skill like we do.
Mike, there's been some talk about A&M's defense having lost Von Miller, that may be coming into this year, that they may not be as good as they were last year. They looked pretty good their first 2 games. What are your thoughts on their defense?
Well, I'm agreeing with you. They had 11 sacks in 2 games. And again, people would argue who they're playing and whatever, but I'm not so sure that you can really take away 11 sacks. So their scheme was good. They have good blitz packages, and it's allowed them to have success on that side of the ball.
You talked a little bit about the rivalry with A&M. This could be, depending on how the chips fall, the last time a conference game you guys go down to College Station. Is that a rivalry, a series that you'd hate to see go away?
I hate to see all of them go away. I mean, I think everybody knows how I feel about the Big 12. I'm a strong proponent of finding a way to make it happen. Now, obviously, nobody really cares what I think, but I hate that we're not going to have an opportunity to play teams like that, just for the reasons that Barry brought up a second ago.
OU and Texas have Regents meetings today. OSU has one on Wednesday. Does it appear to you that everybody's headed west, or what have you been told, of anything?
They don't tell me much more than really what you guys know. You know more about it than myself. I was just briefed coming in here by Gavin and then obviously Kevin, and Kevin tries to keep me from really speaking my opinion so he don't have to deal with the backlash. So freedom of speech has kind of gone out the window with him. You know, he's down to 115 as it is. He'd be down to 105 if I really spoke my opinion. But I don't know really what's going on. I only trust the people that are making the decisions are doing it for the right reasons. And at some point, maybe all this will clear up, and at least we can talk about football. And you guys, because I know y'all want to talk about football, and we can let this go. But there's a lot happening. Obviously, 2 teams left the Big East and went to ACC, and then 2 more are leaving today, I've been told. So that means that the dominoes are starting to fall somewhere. And there's going to be teams looking to jump into conferences. I just hate that there could be teams that have traditionally been in this part of the country, been in the Big 8, been in the Southwest Conference, been in this league, that may not have anywhere to go, who are good football teams. And then there's other teams that are in this geographical location that may be way out of here to a certain extent, based on what some people think. So.
Do you want to be included more in the discussions of realignment with Coach Holt, or do you just say?
I don't really have a lot to say other than it takes me about 2 minutes to say what I think's best. And then other than that, if you've been in many administrative meetings and stuff, you're just kind of spinning your wheels. And so I've just put faith in Coach Holder and President Hargis that they'll do what they think is best for the student athletes, for Oklahoma State University, and for our league. And then other than that, there's not really anything else I can say.
Mike, on the Big 12 teleconference today, Bob Stoops pretty much said almost exactly what you're saying. But he did at one point admit, well, they do ask me what I think.
Mm-hmm.
I want to guess you've been asked what you think.
Yes. But they just don't ask me that many times. Just but like a couple. So
You'd like to repeat it more.
I'd like to say a lot, but I'm not going to. I've learned. I would have been real disgusted last Saturday night with the defense in the third quarter, and I've learned to relax, and I'm glad I did. And so I'm learning as I get older.
Coach, 15 guys have caught a ball pass for you this season, and obviously we knew that wideout would be a deep position, but did you expect this many guys to be involved this early? We
felt like we had a good group, and we've got some young guys that will be able to contribute for us, and that should increase and grow as the season goes on. But I'm pleased with what Hubert's doing. I'm pleased with what Isaiah's doing. I'm pleased with what Tracy Moore's doing. Everybody knew about the other guys. You know, we knew about Coop, we knew about Blackman. You know, Justin Horton's playing well for us. So that group that we needed to contribute to really give us some depth is coming through at this point for us.
How is it different now versus maybe last year when there were some question marks? We didn't know Blackman would break out the way he did.
Just experience is so important. Guys that have been out there and played in front of crowds and have been in difficult situations in third and long, third and short, and understand the tempo of the game and playing with pain and just all those things that factor into having a good football team.
Was Coach Spencer out this week? Does that change the game plan, or how do you guys do it, approach it?
Well, our defensive staff will obviously game plan the same way. We won't have input from him, and he's a very good football coach, and so we have to find ways to overcome that. The other coaches have to make up for that aspect that that particular part of the game plan that he's responsible for. And we have a coach that's set up to coach his linebackers. And I have faith in him. He's a young guy that's been in our program, and he'll do a good job. And so then the last bit falls on the players. I mean, on the linebackers, they have to make up for it. You know, they have to be willing to overcome circumstances and prepare and stay focused. You know, the preparation from Tuesday all the way up through Thursday is basically what's going to decide the game. And so I have a lot of confidence in where we're at, and I feel like the linebackers will play well.
A few of the players were saying that they can notice a difference just in energy level when you're preparing for a conference game, a Big 12 game. Do you notice that as well, kind of pick up in energy and intensity?
Yeah, we've worked hard on trying to keep that intensity for every game, but I think it's only human nature that you know, in a 12-game season, as much as you'd like to play at a high level each week, I don't know that that's possible. And so I thought that our guys were in a good frame of mind and fairly focused last night, and they should be the same way on Tuesday.
Who is set up to take over the linebacking?
Andrew Thacker is on our staff, and he's going to handle those guys for the next few days.
Do you anticipate Glenn being back by Saturday at all?
I think so. It's hard for me to say because it's difficult right now. It's difficult to talk to him. It's difficult for him to talk a lot, but he has expressed a strong interest in at least wanting to be with the team. And so Angela's services will be Thursday, and it's hard for me to really speak for him. With the exception of that, I think that once that part of it is complete, I think he wants to try to get back into a routine to keep his mind kind of off it for the best that he can. That's what I gathered from him this morning.
Do you anticipate Alex Elkins to be back to 100% or at least near that, certainly by Saturday?
Should be that way tomorrow. He was out there last night and moved around well. And I had mentioned this, I don't know if some of you may not have braved it at 4 in the morning, but that we could have played him in Tulsa. But we had made a decision to not play him, and I felt like he was maybe 75-80% at that time.
You said after the game that you thought it'd take 2 or 3 days for everybody to recuperate from what you had to go through. Obviously, it's a tough spot going on the road playing one of your biggest games of the season against a really powerful and aggressive team. Can you just talk about the spot you're in and how you deal with it the best you can?
You know, 2 or 3 days, I was probably referring more to myself. The players will be more resilient because they're younger. Their bodies can make that change. But they moved around pretty well last night, and they were really in a pretty good frame of mind. And so we gave them a plan of a time to be in bed, and you know, when to eat and when to get to bed, and you know, when to get up, and to try to get them back on a normal routine. And then we had asked them to make sure that they take care of all their academic responsibilities today. They have classes and labs and study halls on Monday. It's a big day for them. And then to get back in bed tonight by 9 o'clock. So you figure that, you know, they may be in bed by 11. It's a pretty good deal. And that should get them back on a normal routine.
How about you as a coach? I mean, did you walk off the bus and start A&M film?
No, I went home. It was very unusual pulling up at 6. And then I went to bed, and I went to bed for a couple hours and came back.
Might be good practice for you, though, coming back from Pac-16 games.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. But honestly, that's the truth, especially if you're playing on the West Coast, and you know, if you finish the game out there at 10-ish or 11-ish, that's 12-ish or 1-ish here. And then you got a 3-hour flight, so you're looking at 4 or 5 in the morning.
Mike, you played a team last year that was on its way out the door, Nebraska, and seemed to sort of play for a cause. They wanted to show everybody that.
Mm-hmm.
It seemed to me Nebraska was playing with a little bit of a chip on the shoulder last year. Have you detected any of that with A&M?
Oh, I don't know, because obviously we haven't seen him, but I think they're good. I think they're a good team, and they've matured, and he's got a group of experienced players, which would factor in more than anything, I would think. But you never know. Now that you mentioned that with Nebraska, they played pretty well last year, knowing that each week. I think that the press probably brought to their attention, or the attention of the teams they were playing, that this was your so-called last shot at Nebraska, and it worked out pretty well for them. So, but I think they're just a good football team. I think they're pretty good.
How big has Daquan Lowe been for you guys this season?
He's done a nice job. I wasn't real fired up about that late hit the other day, even though it really wasn't much of a hit, but he's played well for us. He had a couple nice hits in the game, and he stepped in and gotten back into it pretty good. Daquan is a smart football player, and he contributes on special teams, so it's obviously been good we got him back. Good. All right, thanks.
Quickest one of the year.
I even checked my tape.